another Monday night Full Throttle Sim Racing Series Cup Series race coming at you at the grandest stage of them all. Continuing the theme from yesterday. Richmond Raceway, Fairgrounds, Richmond Raceway. Thanks, Dustin, for that typo. If you didn't catch us on the first minute of the splash screen, it got corrected in real time. No place better here, really, in these Cup cars at Richmond Raceway. Got 14 degrees of banking in the corners, 8 degrees on the front stretch, and just a measly 2 degrees on the back stretch. Track is 64 feet in width, and it poses some excellent racing, as you saw this past Wednesday at 9 o'clock. You would have seen these same guys take the truck series to this place, and it was a pretty impressive show. But nonetheless, my name, as always, is Jeremy Stanley, aka J Stan, as you see above my head. And to my right, I have Mr. Pashib Nick. Kenny, how's it going over there?
Oh, what is up, my nerd? It is great to be back in the booth. I'm excited for these cars here at Richmond. We saw an exciting finish yesterday in real life, and like you mentioned on Wednesday, the trucks put on a hell of a show as well. So I'm excited to get this one going and see what who can bring home the W tonight.
The times are looking pretty close right now. Track time is just before 4 o'clock p.m. That means we're going to stay daylight the entire race. We'll not transition into any type of night time unless something really weird happens here, because as we've known to this point, no cautions, or at least very few, each and every week.
Yeah, it's said 1, 2. After that one, we have the second one, and then we're pretty good after that. But very few cautions. Some of the guys that we saw on Wednesday battling out in the trucks are here tonight in the cars. So running up front, Richie Coy, Chuck Sweeting, we saw them as well. Even Casey McMullen. The one that we were kind of talking about in pre-race before we jumped on the splash screen, Jeremy, was Brody Hanna. We see him here tonight, but we don't know if he's going to be racing. See if he can defend that win from last season. Led 39 laps to bring home the victory. So let's see if he can go back-to-back.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks that's really tough to figure out, and if you have a setup from last season, which, as we know, it's a new Cup car, so your playbook's kind of thrown out the window. It's going to pose some new challenges for these guys in the Cup Series this time around at Richmond Raceway. Really looking forward to it. It is 200 laps here at this facility, so it's a pretty lengthy race. We saw the truck guys do it no problem. They had excellent racing all around the racetrack. I just saw someone hit the wall heavy on the front stretch. Looks like Mr. McMullen, but nonetheless, yeah, this track is not typically my favorite per se, but I know when I watch the real life guys do it and these guys in the sim world, it never lets down, really.
No, it's always an exciting track, real short track racing. And we saw on Wednesday that coming off the turn 2 there was the trouble child. So we're kind of seeing it here in practice as well. And you mentioned the new car, got the handbook there, throw it out the window. Sometimes that book isn't really giving us what we need this season, but some of them we got dialed in, like Richie Coy. He's been dialed in pretty much all season. Ryan Hedrick, he's been dialed in. Are you looking for that notebook down there? 'Cause it's gone.
Queuing up that John Travolta meme, it's just, in an empty space here. I don't have one of those. I threw it away a long time ago.
I took it from you last week, so I think I'll get back to you and let you take the reins back over. I'm 1 for 1. I'm good. I'm happy. I did say I borrowed it from your book, so I guess we can both.
Yeah, as I was mentioning to you earlier, Logan Paul's, undefeated at WrestleMania, something that The Undertaker can't even say. So I guess you can take that playbook and go 1 for 1 on my book, because you did take it from me. You took the only win I could have had in, all 14 weeks so far.
Yeah, I'm unfortunate for you, but glad I took it home for me. But yeah, we're gonna have some exciting racing tonight. I'm excited to see it. Richie Coy just jumped actually to the top of the charts here over Chuck Sweeting. So we mentioned earlier, he's gonna have a fast car tonight. Ryan Hedrick's sitting about middle of the pack right here, as I'm looking on the times, and James Wallace has yet to take a practice time either. So. See if he can get one lap down. We got about another minute left to practice, so I don't think he'll make it, but we'll see if he puts down a qualifying time.
Could be one of those guys that are just preserving that car and his energy up for that qualifying time. He might sneak one in. We've never seen it, or never not seen it before, that kind of scenario. And that could be it. I have not seen him get on the track at all, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on with him, but we will figure out here in just the next minute as these guys kick it over to qualifying. But as I was saying earlier, the lap times are pretty impressive across the board. You got Richie Coy showing the way at a 22.298. As you know, he was your last week's race winner at Circuit of the Americas with that dominant performance that him and Ryan Hedrick put on. The points lead of Ryan Hedrick's got a 24-point lead over Richie Coy.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. Those two, top of the charts. He's got a 24-point lead over Richie Coy, but then he's in the cushion of the two rookies there on the same team. Ryan Hedrick in first and James Wallace are sitting in third. So that's another reason why we're kind of keeping an eye on James Wallace, because he's coming in here third in the points. And then you got another rookie up there, Jeremy, Super Matty Watkins. He's in fifth place in the point standings, 40 points back. So third, fourth, and fifth are all within 2 points.
Yeah, really tight there. Yeah, James Wallace, Case McMullen, and then Matty Watkins at 1-1-1. So that position can change with any finishing order, really, unless they do finish ahead of each other as they show up in the points. But as that is said, qualifying is on. So as normal, it's time for us to swipe our faces off this screen and get to thanking some people that make this happen for you guys on Nerd TV every Monday and Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is race number 7 of 13, so we're exactly halfway done with the schedule after this race is over. Quick shout out to the league that we are watching right now, Full Throttle Sim Racing. Check them out at FTSR.net. Been doing this thing for a long time, Ken. iRacing for 5 years, in total for 16. You see the respect on the track each and every week. It's one of the very few leagues that you can actually say that with that amount of time together and doing it so perfectly. That's once again FTSR.net. 5 different racing series across 5 different nights, and actually got 3 different three different short track cars all on the same night. So that's kind of a cool, unique setup. And then we have Sim Racing Points, your truck series sponsor for Full Throttle Sim Racing. They're that all-inclusive league points management system that allows league owners and admins the ability to completely track their league stats and points with a simple upload. Essentially, you just export your results, go to that software, plug it in, boom, it's good to go. Nice and easy. Admin's favorite tool, one of their favorite tools. You can check out all their pricing plans at simracingpoints.com. And then we have to thank Martin Sports. When you go to their website, you super nerd at checkout, you get 25% off of everything. They're the home of all sim racing gloves. The most breathable and durable gloves in the sim racing world. And they also make team uniforms.
What?
Shirts.
What?
Hoodies.
What?
And the fastest turnaround in the business.
Hell yeah.
Check out their complete lineup at martinsports906.com. Once again, super nerd, 25% off of everything in your shopping cart. Then we have iRacing iFlag. That same code, super nerd, you're going to use for 15% off at iRacingIFlag.com. It's that indicator system / caution light system all built into one device, 3D printed. Put it right on your desk, anywhere you want. It's so bright, you're not going to miss it no matter what. But if you do want to see some arrows, like if you have a car high, it's going to have a right arrow. If you have a car low, it's going to have a left arrow. It's kind of cool. Does a lot of different things for you. Customizable. And a pretty decent price point too, I would say. So iRacingIFlag.com, once again, super nerd at checkout, 15% off. And then thank you to the buttkicker.com as well. Their checkout code for us is just going to be NerdTV. That's going to present you with a 20% off your entire order. We have the Gamer 2 unit. As I've said each and every week, Dustin has a great review on that on our YouTube page at Nerditudes. And essentially that device brings all the bumps and feels of the racetrack directly to your gamer seat or your sim rig or whatever you're sitting on, essentially, that you're racing. Gives you that much needed feel and performance from the sim world. Check their entire product line at thebuttkicker.com. Once again, Nerd TV, 20% off of your entire order. I also like to thank our new energy partner, Nerd Focus. Use checkout code SUPERNERD for 10% off the entire lineup, which they only have 2 flavors, but super tasty. The green label is going to be the sugar variant, which you see on your screen now, and then the sugar-free version is going to be the blue label. No additional flavors this time, but these things are super tasty already, and it keeps you hyper-focused no matter what you're doing in real life or in the sim world. You're going to find them at nerdfocus.com, and you're going to use promo code SUPERNERD for 10% off at checkout. And then a quick shout outs to our asphalt setup provider at Nerd TV and Nerditudes entirely. Moonlight Speed Concepts. You're going to find them at moonlightspeed.com. You're also going to find them on Twitter. Please check them out. It's got a great community going for them. It's a newer startup group, but they provide professional setups. They've been doing it for a long time. They got some of the best to gather up, make this program happen for everybody at competitive pricing. Once again, that's moonlightspeed.com. And on the flip side, when you go to the dirt, we have the House of Speed, and you're going to find them at houseofspeed.us. Also can find them on Twitter as well. So make sure to follow both of those pages. You don't want to miss out. All right, Kenny. Gridding is happening on the front stretch at Richmond Raceway. If you want to walk us through that top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we had 13 cars make a lap here in qualifying. Taking your pole tonight is going to be the 71 of Casey McMullen. Starting to his outside, second place is Wayne Grassi. Third is Chad Lane. Fourth is going to be Brandon Elder. Fifth is Sherwood Williford. Sixth, Shane Pipala. Seventh is Richie Coy. Eighth is your championship leader right now, Ryan Hedrick. Ninth is Josh Johnson. And round out the top 10, Kenneth Schultz.
11th place, Tony Solari on his outside, and 12th is Chuck Sweeting, which we typically don't see Chuck back there that far, so he's got some work to do early on to get that thing back up to where we all know where he can be. Next row back in 13th, they're going to find Gil Gawk. 14th place, just on his outside, is going to be Matty Super Watkins. 15th place is James Wallace, who did not actually take that qualifying time, and he's currently not gridded, if I'm not mistaken. Does not look like it, so we might have a couple guys missing here. We see Kevin Rupert listed at 16th place. He is on the track. We got 17th, Matthew Gehringer. 18th was Brody Hanna, but once again, I don't think he's going to make the circuit for this race tonight. Then we have Brian Bliss scheduled in, actually, my orders flipped. We got Steve Loomis in 19th, Jeff Brayton in 20th, and Brian Bliss 21st, which... Kenny, I'm not seeing a couple of those guys. I'm not seeing Brian Bliss on the track. That's kind of huge.
Yeah, I'm right there looking with you, and I don't see him marked up either. And kind of like we were mentioning earlier in the standings, you got a couple of guys here that, James Wallace sitting third in the points, Brian Bliss 10th in the points. I know they get about 2 minutes to grid, so hopefully here we go. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to miss a couple. And just a quick thing I know you're talking about Chuck Sweeting there as you were reading off those great sponsors that we have affiliations with. He looks like he had a little mishap coming off of Florida on his qualifying lap, so I'm sure that took some speed off of him and put him back down 12th.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't help things at all, and I'm sure he's going to get that corrected. We know each and every week, Mr. Chuck Sweeting, you can't count him out. He is super fast, basically anywhere he goes. We're going to see if we can get this job done, as we only have a half a pace lap left before we take 200 laps to Richmond Raceway, or as Dustin likes to make typos of it, we're going to Richmond Fairgrounds Speedway. Pretty unique track setup there, I would say, but pace car, no, actually we're going to do one more lap. I do apologize. It is a 2-lap pace lap system.
That short track pace lap.
That's right. I didn't see the lights on the car, kind of fooled me for a second. That's why I don't bring these playbooks. Yeah, my early observation is I expect Casey McMullen to put on a pretty dominant performance overall. Surprised to see Chad Lang up there. He's running pretty competitive times. He might be one of those sleepers to kind of watch out for.
Yeah, he's definitely one to keep an eye on. Richie Coy's kind of been the guy that's been up front all week or all season, so he's one that I'm going to be kind of putting to win this race again tonight. So he's going to be one I'm keeping my eye on.
You see the pace car does dip down this time, waiting for Casey McMullen. Watching premature Patrick have that flag in his hand.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. Casey with an excellent start over Wayne Grassi is going to allow that number 4 of Chad Lang to swoop in and take second place before he even turn 1.
Yeah, and got a few rows back. 2 wide racing here for about 4 rows deep. Casey McMullen's going to pull a little bit on that start as Chad Lang had a great start as well, taking over into that second place as they're going to come to complete lap 1. Looks like Casey McMullen's going to get the point for leading the first lap.
Yep, it's it's first short track of the season, so we're going to see what these guys have for us in store. And Chad Lang is not disappointing. Casey McMullen easily gives that spot up. New leader on lap number 2. I think it's one of the first times we've seen him all season long, Mr. Chad Lang in that Mobil 1 Ford Mustang.
Yeah, that Mobil 1 Ford Mustang's looking pretty good tonight. Great paint scheme that he's got on that thing. And yeah, out front, leading early. Casey didn't have any fight. Casey said, it's lap 2. Go ahead and get you some laps. So, we've seen this from Casey all the time. He just sits back and just kind of always ends up at the front there. So I expect him to be nowhere less once this thing gets coming out to the end. But kind of jump back, Jeremy, to who we were keeping an eye on. Brian Bliss, Brody Hanna, and James Wallace did not make the start of this race. So that's big for James Wallace there. You're 30 points, not in the race tonight.
Yeah, if they can get back on track, I don't know if they have mechanical issues or something with the sim rig or whatnot, but they can still get on track and hope to gain any possible points that they can. And we've seen a couple early people fall back, a couple people make some moves. Looks like Josh Johnson's already picked up 2 spots since they waved the green flag. We see Brandon Elder starting in 4th, dropping all the way back to 9th place. He's already lost 5 spots in 5 laps. Doesn't look like he has an early run car up there.
No, it does not. That's not the start that you'd want. Great qualifying.
Speaking of not good starts, Kent Scholes heading to the wall, exited turn number 2, got loose, gathered it up, but there was just severe right front damage.
Yeah, we see green flag still going, so no caution for that. That's unfortunate for Ken Schultz. He's going to have to ride around, see what kind of damage he has. He's still getting around. Not really getting passed by Kevin Rupert there, so maybe he's got a car to contend until he can come under for pit stops to make some repairs on that car there. But yeah, great start there, for great qualifying effort, I should say, for Brandon Elder. But yeah, he's kind of fell off in the start of this race, but maybe he'll have, like you said, a later run car and make his way back up to the field.
Yeah, with Richmond, it's one of those deals where if you take care of your tires, they're gonna bring you back to life on the long run. And as you know, with full throttle sim racing, long runs do happen quite frequently in almost every single race. Another couple group people, Richie Coy, he's gained 3 spots. He's currently sitting in, 4 points now. He's now 3rd place in the race as he's closing in on 2nd place right now. Wayne Grassi. Everybody else is kind of just hanging tight single file.
Yeah, we saw this before, just last week in the Truck Series with Richie Coy. He, started a couple rows back and then slowly just made his way up to the front and stayed up there most of the way. So I expect him to do the same thing. And Casey McMullen started on the pole, and we see it on their TV. He's lost a couple spots, lost 3 spots, sitting in 4th. Still top 5, but he's probably just letting his car come to him. You don't see him really fighting off any of these challenges. That's when they're passing on the inside, kind of just letting him go. So he might just be filling the car out. I was watching him practice, and he made some good fast laps, but he was spinning it a little bit, so he might have been just trying to find what's going to be the right groove for him.
Yeah, you got to find that edge that the car has. These cars are a little touchier than the last gen Cup cars. So you got to find that area to keep that car nice and solid throughout the race time. Practice is a great time to junk your stuff up. I do expect Casey to be back. I know he's got a long run car almost every week. He never fails. So him only being in 4th place, just easing his way through these corners. I expect nothing less than for him to get back up there and contend for that lead. Right now, Chad Lang is just showing the way as he's already climbed to a 1.3 second lead over 2nd place Wayne Grassi.
Yeah, Chad Lang's definitely showing that he's got the early muscle here tonight and setting off in the turn 1, as you said, over a 2nd lead over Wayne Grassi. Haven't had much big movers, We had Richie Coy's moved up 4 spots here. Started 7th, sitting in 3rd place. And kind of the only one that's lost a few, we talked about him earlier, is Brandon Elder. He's lost about 5 spots. Other than that, everyone's kind of sitting right where they started or one spot difference. So not too much movement except for a couple guys here.
Yeah, Chad Lang right now, if he can keep this pace up, right now he's 16th in place, 74 points back of your race leader, or point leader rather, Ryan Hendrick. So if he can keep this up and have Ryan Hendrick finish where he's at, which he started 8th, is currently in 8th, it's going to be a pretty decent points day for that number 4.
Yeah, that's definitely what he needs to get going and get back up into the points. And, as we're sitting on here with Richard Coy, we know he's no stranger to the front. Looking to see if he can make a pass here on Wayne Grassi. So they're fighting it out for second place. And it's kind of looking through the field, Jeremy, as you were just speaking of. And I looked at Brandon Elder. His car looks like he's got a little bit of damage there on that right front. So I'm imagining he probably got into the wall a little bit. And that might be why he's lost a couple more spots than normal on the start. But he definitely has some right front damage. Nothing to worry about, but that could be why he lost those early spots there.
Yeah, as far as the durability goes, this composite body, you can beat these things up, and the body itself can withstand quite a bit of abuse. But, there's still aerodynamics that play into a factor, even on a short track like Richmond, because it is a really fast short track. It's 3/4 of a mile long. It got these wider sweeping corners compared to some of the other tracks like Martinsville and Bristol. So, there's still a little bit of aerodynamics involved, and if you get that right front injured, as you see, he's pushing really bad right now. He lets Tony Solari just go by no problem whatsoever. It's going to drop him back to 11th place. It might be causing some aero push there entering the corners.
Yeah, you saw Tony Solari there. Had no problems going back around him. So Matty Watkins is trying to make a move on him here in the next couple of laps. But looking back ahead of this group, you got these teammates here of 47 and Ryan Hedrick and the 57 and Josh Johnson trying to make their way through the field. Josh has gained 2 spots since the drop of the green flag, passing his teammate for one of those spots. And then Brandon Elder, who we mentioned of, kind of fell back. But they're moving their way up. They got Shane in the front of that windshield there and trying to reel him in and see if they can make their way into the top 5.
Yeah, he's like you said, he's passed 2 cars. He's looking pretty good. That car looks nice and firm on the track. I haven't seen him get loose at all. Been watching his hands for the past lap or so, and his hands are pretty steady on that wheel. So I would say he's doing a fine job, and that car is treating him well. Reporting back to Kenneth Scholes, currently sitting at 14th. He's the one to hit that wall heavy on early. I think it was lap 2 or 3. Still has that right side damage. Has not pitted for it, so it hasn't affected him too much, but he is dropped back to 14th after that initial contact. So he might be on the same boat as Brandon Elder, where he might be experiencing a little bit of tightness.
Looking up through the field here, Jeremy, I had Chuck Sweeting, who started back in 12th place because of that qualifying run, rising up to his par, and he just passed Ryan Hedrick there to move up into the 8th position. So we know he's got a strong car. He's been having it the last couple of weeks, and been a contender at every single track that we've gone to. So I expect him to move his way up to the front. I think you mentioned it as well. You want to keep an eye on him, and he's moving his way up, Jeremy. He's got Josh Johnson now in the picture, so we're going to see him coming up the field as well. This will be an exciting one to watch the rest of the race.
And on their TV, you see the hands of Chuck Sweeting there as he enters turn number 1. Pretty smooth on the wheel. You can see the track's not too rough. It's a pretty smooth surface overall. Enters turn number 3 right now and just gracefully turns that thing. And that thing is turning too. If he can get the breakdown, like that car hugs that yellow line and has good speed doing so.
The battle for second place.
Battle for second place as well. Rain Grassi under fire of Richie Coy. About 1 car length now on the back stretch. Here's the enter turn number 3. And actually Richie Coy did make the pass, there. So new second place contender, Richie Coy. He's got 1.5 seconds to gain before he's going to find your current race leader, who he's led all but 1 lap, Mr. Chad Lang.
Going to see what Richie Coy can do here now that he's got in front of Wayne Grassi there. See if he lost a little bit of ground or if they're running about the same. Not saying that, Wayne was slowing him up, but if Richie's got that early run car or anything like that, he's definitely want to get out there and get going and try and run Chad down. As we're seeing, he's kind of pulling a little bit here on Wayne. Let's see if he ran Chad. Yeah, about just a 10th, just over a 10th here on that lap faster there. So Richie keeps his pace up, within the next 15 laps or so, we might be having a battle for the lead. Kind of looking back, there's still single file right behind him, but definitely Richie's on his way up to Chad.
Will take a lot of mental patience to do so. This track, you have to hit your marks because the corners are not, it's only 14 degrees of banking. So if you miss the braking point, these will slide up and that'll just chews your tires apart. So you got to stay persistent. He did gain another 10th that time now at a 1.19 behind Chad Lang. So he's definitely got the speed. Let's just see how he's able to hold on to it. And he's got that really low entry into turn number 3 that time around. Just kind of hugging that yellow line, making it his best friend. If he can keep this up at pace, he gained another 10th right now. He's just over 1 second. So yeah, I think you're right there. In the next 12, 13 laps, we might potentially see a new leader. See him take the line this time. Chad Lang has a .766 lead. Richie Coy gained about 2.5 tenths that time, Kenny. So huge fall off here for your race leader.
Yeah, Rich is coming in a hurry. I was expecting a little bit shorter time, or faster, longer time, I should say, to get up there. But he's coming in a hurry. I mean, he's cut that time down in half with a matter of 3-4 laps. So maybe a little combination of both. What's coming on from Richie, and maybe the tires of Chad Lang are kind of wearing down a little bit quicker. So we're going to see Richie here next couple of laps. He gained off another 10th and a half there. So he's definitely coming. And as you're looking through there, I saw how I was taking a look at Brandon Elder, seeing how he's doing. He's definitely still pushing pretty hard there. Coming off of turn 2 especially, that's where he loses a lot of ground. Matty Watkins made a pass on him, so Matty Watkins going to move up into the 11th position, and Brandon Elder's falling back even further now to your 12th position. So rough start here for Brandon Elder, but hopefully he can get on pit road and fix some of that repairs and maybe make it through the rest of the race, get back in that top 10.
Yeah, he needs to make some type of in-car adjustment, like your brake ratio. When he hits that green flag pit stop, he's going to need to do some type of suspension adjustments to get that thing going. He's just pushing so hard, especially in turn 3. Just can't stick the bottom no matter how hard he tries. We're going back to the race lead here. We're on board with Richie Coy and that DeWalt Ford Mustang. He has brought that thing to about 2 car lengths at this point. Just nice smooth corners there, hugging that bottom and getting the job done.
Looks like a replay of Wednesday night, Jeremy. It's just nice and smooth on the wheel, not making any mistakes, moving his way up through. And I think at one point, he had that big lead as he kind of slacked off in the last couple of laps. Ooh, getting the wall there a little bit, looks like Chad did. So he's definitely feeling the pressure there from Richie. As Richie's looking and drives it in a little bit harder than Chad there in turn 3 and 4. Is coming off, getting a great run off as you see Chad just scrape the wall again. Chad's definitely trying to stay ahead of Richie, but I don't think so. I think he's just going to let him go here. He knows Richie has the faster car.
Yeah, it looked like last lap on turn 2, when he mentioned he touched the wall, it looked like he was watching that mirror too much because he had that corner cleared and just drifted up into the wall. He just knows that yellow and black machine is on a rail. But he's holding his own right now as he's going to... Ooh, so close to Richie Coy. Richie Coy, nice save. It's going to drop him back single file for second place. And he lost a lot of tire wear there. At least on my end, I saw a bunch of tire wear, or the rubber laid on the track exiting turn 4.
Well, he's definitely lost some there, and that's going to bring that little pack behind him here. Casey McMullen, Wayne Grassi. Yeah, he's definitely pushing it right there a little bit. So that's going to allow these guys to suck up a little bit, give Chad Lane a little breathing room. But we see Richie Coy, he's coming back strong, actually. He's going to try and dive back out in there. So Richie's not giving up here on this lead.
And the person I expected to come back is making his move. That's Casey McMullen in that 3rd place. He's dropped it to 1.2 seconds. And with these 2 guys for the race lead going at it, that's giving Casey an easy opportunity to strike, as he's another 2 tenths faster that lap, just over 1 second back. And so we might have a nice little 3-car battle here in the next couple laps.
Yeah, this is definitely shaping up to be a nice little battle. Like you said, Casey's coming back on strong, but right behind him, Wayne Grassi and Sherwood, and then look who's sitting there, started on 12th. Chuck Sweeting's making his way from that 6th position, so he's looking to break the top 5. We see Richie Coy diving on the inside here of Chad Lang. So he's going to make the pass here in turn 1 2. He's going to have to check. Nope, he actually is going to make the pass this time. Clears him as they come off of 2, and that's going to put new race leader Richie Coy.
Does get the job done. Let's see if he can clear Chad Lang as much as he can before that Blackwater Products Chevrolet Camaro can get around Chad Lang. He dips to the bottom, that being Casey McMullen. Dives into turn 1 really low. Chad gives him plenty of room and the position. No problem there. So Casey McMullen now just has a couple of tenths to get and potentially pass Mr. Richie Coy.
I think we're going to also see here very shortly Chuck Sweeting might be in the top 3, Jeremy. He's just made a pass there on Wayne Grassi. taking the 5th position. Looking on Sherwood Wilford right now to get into that 4th position. We'll see you diving into turn 1. He's looking to make that pass as he gets back into the gas before he does. Clears him as they head off of 2. That's going to put him, when they come back this next time, in 4th place. And I don't see any reason why he won't be right up on Chad Langus and try and make his way back up to Casey and Richie here fighting for the top 3.
Chuck Sweeting never disappoints me. It's amazing. He's come from 12th to 4th, and that car's still, I think, running some of the fastest lap times so far this race. His last lap was a 23.426. Race leader Richie Coy looking at a 23.601. So that's, a tenth and a half slower than 4th place Chuck Sweeting. And even after passing all those cars, he's able to preserve those tires.
Yeah, and I'm looking here on pit road. We got Brandon Oder now came down for an early pit stop. Looks like he's going to make some adjustments, getting some damage repaired on that. He took 4 fresh tires. Looks like right now they're doing a little bit of damage repair. I'm sure he's got some. Yep, as I see it pop out there. So getting his car fixed up, and that is going to put him 2 laps down. Possibly could even go 3 or 4 laps down once this pit stop's said and done. But that's a tough start after a great qualifying effort for him.
Yeah, damage just kind of crippled his efforts early on. And take the time while you still got 160 laps in this race before it's over to get everything that you need repaired. You just got to hope for a couple cautions, maybe be a lucky dog to recover anything. But even on a short track, Ken, these guys at FullThrottleSimRacing.net, which give a quick shout out to these guys as you see them do it each and every week. Some of the best in the business. It's really keeping it professional and just hard racers, clean racers, and very respectful. You can hear them every time we interview these guys. They have nothing but respect for anybody that they race around.
Yeah, it's kind of like, watching F1. It's like a little family. Got about 20, 25 drivers. Everyone's super friendly, respects each other, has a great time racing. Love seeing it out here, and it's every series. We broadcast 2 of them, but I know you raced in one. We watched a couple of the others, so definitely respectful as we see right here. Chuck Sweeting going by, take over that 3rd position. Great little battle there for him and Chad. So definitely come check them out here at Full Throttle Sim Racing if you're looking for a nice competitive league. These are the guys to check out.
Absolutely. And speaking of checking out somebody, Chuck Sweeting is in 3rd and on the back bumper of Casey McMullen. And he dips to the bottom now, entering turn number 1, potentially taking 2nd place, and he does it with ease. And he's still gained on Richie Coy even after making a pass on Casey. That car is on something else. The thing is, I don't know. That car is just, I don't know how he's getting the job done, passing 11 other guys and still cranking out these kind of lap times.
And that's how, Richie Coy and Chuck Sweeting were the top 2 guys on Wednesday's series too. I mean, Chuck came home in 3rd place, but he definitely had the truck to compete up with Richie. So that one, should be interesting to see where it comes down to when these guys start battling it out. I think Bobby Terrell ended up taking the win on Wednesday, but him and Richie were up there battling it out as they're doing right now. So we're at lap, we're at lap 47. So we're almost a quarter way through the race, and I think we're just getting started here with these 2 getting ready to fight it out for the lead.
Yeah, I mean, when we see Chuck Sweeting get around Richie Coy inevitably, if he can make it happen, I expect him to, go on a little tear, but they can run a lot of laps here before they have to make their green flag stop. Richie Coy just sticking a little bit low on the bottom there, maybe run a slightly defensive line to make sure Chuck doesn't do any type of run that time around. But you see right in the rear bumper of Richie Coy, he's getting a screen full of that black and blue Chevrolet Camaro, dips to the bottom of turn number 3. And Chuck Sweeting is going to take that with ease. New race leader on lap number 48, Mr. Sweeting.
Yeah, Chuck Sweeting just taking that Gator Racing Chevrolet to the front there, taking the top spot, going to lead his first lap of the night. Like you were watching him already, started 12th, sitting here in 1st place, and actually just pulling on Richie. His car is bad fast right now, so he's putting a statement on right now, showing everyone who the top car is tonight. And started this race since the drop of the green flag, Jeremy. Chuck's been on it.
Chuck has really impressed me so far this season. Just no matter where you throw him at, road course, he was running top 5 and super speedways, he does pretty good. These short tracks, obviously at this point, you know he's fast, at least at Richmond. Intermediates too, top 5. So it's just a matter. He's a very versatile driver. It looks like in these Cup cars, anyways. As he pulls to about a just over a half a second lead over Richie Coy. Case McMullen has fallen back just a touch over Richie Coy. Sherwood Williford not letting go. He's actually gained a couple tenths in the past few laps on Casey. He's only 1.8 back of Chuck Sweeting as he's making the late break push as well.
Yeah, as we see, you know, everyone's kind of fanned out a little bit, kind of like we had on Wednesday here at the trucks. Not much of a battling going on. We see a couple here's there'sy when, you know, tires kind of come in as the closest pack I'm seeing right now. We got Ryan Hedrick, Matty Watkins, and Gil Gawk sitting there, and they're battling for basically the end of the top 10. You got 10th, 9th, and 8th there. Been kind of watching that pack for a little bit, and Matty's slowly making up some ground. He's gained a couple spots here. He's looking to get past Ryan, get into that 8th spot, but Ryan's holding strong. Started in 8th, still sitting in 8th, kind of been there this whole race as we see Matty looking low, and looks like someone's coming off the pit road there, Jeremy, so we might be seeing some of these early pit stops. That's Jeff Brayton there in the 55.
Jeff Brayton, yep, you see him on your screen right now, is exiting pit road. Don't see any damage really on that machine, so it might have been an early strategy call. We'll have to see if everyone follows suit or if they're going to play a normal strategy. It's hard to tell. To me, I think 55 laps is a little soon for the fuel mileage anyways, but I guess these tires could be wearing a little bit more than what we were expecting.
I was thinking the same thing, that it might be a little too soon, and just going to look back and see what was going on between all that. But during all that, as far as them coming back out, you're going to have Matty Watkins, actually, that spot we were just talking about him with Ryan Hedrick. He went ahead and took that spot away from him, so that's going to put him in 8th place. And Ryan Hedrick is actually going to fire from Gil Gawk as well. And sitting there, Jeff Brayton, who's got those fresh tires, is underneath him. So he might be best to just let him go, but he's still fighting it off with Gil Gawk right now for that top 10.
Yeah, it's, you would think here in the matter of the next lap he's going to get it done in that 55. Yeah, it's 50 lap fresher tires and everybody else on this field now. He needs to take full advantage of this moment. And right now, Gil Gawk and that other Gator Racing Chevrolet Camaro is kind of putting him on the binders a little bit here as he's struggling to get around that 85.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely holding him up, and like you said, that's the time, you know, you got fresh tires. You want to get out there and try to make as much ground as you can. I think he's sitting at 2 laps down. Yeah, he's 2 laps down right now for making that pit stop. So he needs to get around Gil Gawk in a hurry and try and get his way up there. But Gil is definitely taking that line away from us. We see he's looking on the inside. That's the preferred line here when you're going to pass it on that inside. So he's going to take that spot from Gil Gawk. And ooh, little slide there. So he might have pushed it a little too hard, Jeremy. He was ready to get by Gil on that one.
Yeah, he was, and made it happen, and now he's got his eyes set. Everybody else in front of him. Matty Watkins is coming up next on that. See, I think we saw one other person pit. I thought I saw Wayne Grassley coming in. This car is pushing up really high in the center of 3 and 4 this time around. I saw a call out for him. I didn't see him actually pit, so he's still in 6th place. I don't know if he changed his strategy last moment, but he's figuring things out. That car is just looking really tight to the center, so he's calling for some tires. Let's see if he can mix it down this time by. And it looks like he does not. So he's gonna change the strategy up here. Still running in 6th place. Chad Lang, who did lead early on a lot of these laps, currently sitting in 5th place, right behind Case McMullen. He's dropped to 3.5 back, and that car needs a little bit of tweaking if he wants to continue on this long run.
You can tell definitely that Wayne was, had some issues, whether it's his car getting tight, the tires wearing off, but he was running that pack there just ahead of him. That top 5 little pack that was going on, and he kind of dropped back a little bit. He's about 4 seconds behind that group there. So he's definitely looking to get some fresh tires, just kind of waiting for that to come down. I know we're going to be seeing some pit stops here within the next 15, 20 laps or so possibly. These tires might be a factor more than anything, Jeremy. I think that's what's going to kind of put in their heads. And once we see 1 or 2 come down, you'll start seeing the rest of the field. But Chuck's enjoying it. Chuck's enjoying this. He's out for a Sunday or a Monday evening drive here. He's sitting almost 2 seconds. He's got 1.9 seconds ahead of Richie Coy there as they let him go by. As he puts the number 17 of Steve Loomis a lap down. But Chuck Sweeting is just on a rail right now, Jeremy.
Yeah, and he's got a couple lap cars to finagle through right now. I see Kenneth Scholes here, the next victim to go one lap down. And right in front of him, you see the number 1 of Kevin Rupert. Kenneth Scholes does let Mr. Chuck Sweeting by. And I would imagine here in the next corner, he's going to get to Rupert's bumper and do the same exact thing. He did lose a 10th over Richie Coy. That's just because of virtue of getting around some lap traffic, which Richie's turn here in the next few laps afterwards. But yeah, I'm really surprised to see Chuck Sweeting just hugging that yellow line. We've seen a lot of these other drivers just sliding way up the track and just Chuck's having nothing of it, just gripping that bottom like he's on a fresh set of tires and just pulling away, man.
He's definitely got the setup tonight. It's it hasn't fell off, and it's just been on a rail this whole entire night since the drop of the green flag. So he's definitely got it going. And just wait till he gets some tires underneath that thing and see how much he really gains. But he's put down a couple of cars here a lap down. I think he's put down 3 of them right now. So he's passed Kevin, Steve, and Kenneth there. And here in Gil Gawk on the radio, I think it's him and just Shane going fighting for position there. So no pits. Oh, we got someone right there coming off the pit road right there. Is that Ryan Hedrick, the points leader?
Taking a quick look, and yes, that is your points leader. Ryan Hedrick comes down on lap number 64 to take his tires, and Josh Johnson into the water barrels there, entering pit road. We're gonna get a quick shot back on that. And he had to use the tow. I think his engine might have expired from that. He tried to come down pit road too hot and heavy, and he nails that wall. Yeah, that engine is expired. You're gonna see it right here. Just makes a late cut, just heavy on the brakes, just couldn't get it done and squared the water barrels. You see the cone fly, the hood is gone.
He's stuck too.
And he was stuck, and so he had to call that tow. That's a minimum of 3 minutes plus repair time, which I'm sure he's got a meatball out of that one.
And I was taking a look here to circle back here at Ryan Hedrick, because I know we had some interviews with him, and we saw him at Atlanta, missed pit road twice, had another mishap the week later, and we kind of talked to him about it. And he says he hates pit road entrance, so I was looking back to see what happened, and he made it on clean. But his teammate Josh Johnson must have been looking at some of the previous Ryan Hedrick videos, and he made a mistake and put it right there in the water barrel. So tough break for Josh, and that's going to end his night, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like it will potentially. Kevin Rupert has made his way to pit road in that number 1 Ford Mustang. He is getting his right sides changed right now. I think I saw another call out potentially for another pit entrance this time. Taking a quick look, I do not see that actual pit happening up. Shane Papala is going to be actually the next one comes down. He gets in there nice and clean in that white and green clutch Ford Mustang. Looks like everybody else is currently staying out this time around. So we're starting to see a little bit of a trickle effect of those green flag stops.
Yeah, and this whole time, making their way through traffic, I mean, Richie and Chuck have both been fighting some lap cars, but look at that lead that Chuck's putting down. 3 seconds, Jeremy. He's gained 3 seconds now on Richie Coy, as Richie's having a little tough time trying to, one, hold off Sherwood there for that second place, and also battle some of his lap cars. So Chuck's enjoying this even more now as he puts even a little bit more, 2 more tenths on him. So if these green flag pit stops keep on going like this, Jeremy, that could be big for Chuck.
Yeah, I think one thing left that Richie Coy needs at this point, quick shout out to Nerd Focus. He needs that in his center console right now to stay focused ahead of Mr. Sherwood Williford. Nerdfocus.com, super nerd to check out for 10% off. Sugar-free variant is our favorite around here because we don't really like the sugar drinks, and as far as our soda is concerned, keeps you hyper-focused and alert, and that's exactly what Richie Coy is going to need to hold off the 33 and the 71 right now. He's just pushing really heavy in the turn 3 and 4. You saw him just drift up the track and put Williford on those binders. He really needs to get around him. Yeah,
Williford's trying to go whichever way he can, if he can go high or low, but Richie's, he's pulling a little Ryan Newman and not making it very easy for him to pass, and can definitely see him pushing, but he's holding on to that second spot, and you can just see Sherwood there as he's going to be trying to make the move here as they're coming off of 4. I think he might actually pull this one off, Jeremy, because he's going to have the advantage here as they're going to go down to 1 and 2 where he's on the inside, so that's definitely the spot that he wants to be if he can just hold on to it. But Richie's got to be careful because Casey McMullen's right there behind him, so he might lose 2 spots here in the 1 corner.
Yeah, Richie in the 19 is just too tight. I don't think he's going to be able to hold anybody off at this point in time. 33 does get around successfully. Keith McMullen also does as well, and it's going to open the door for that 55, who is currently a couple laps down from that early pit stop. He's working to get one of his laps back just by pure speed here. He does got some damage on the right side of that 55, though. I don't know if that came previous or not, but some paint has gone. See a couple more people, looks like maybe leaving pit road. I saw Matty Watkins down on the apron. Yeah, he just made his pit stop. He's back onto the racing surface 2 laps down. Looks like everybody else is on the racetrack. No more takers this time around.
Yeah, that was correct. That was Matty Watkins coming off the pit road there. As we hear on the radio, Chuck's kind of letting everyone go by, so he's still going to be staying out a little longer. He just, let Wayne Grassy go by there, Shane Capallo go by. Those are on fresher tires, so Chuck's not even, doesn't want to battle it out with them. He knows that they're faster with those fresher tires, but he's still stretching this out. We still have, looks like 6 cars that have yet to make a pit stop. And so that you're going to have Chuck here still with about a 4-second lead. Lost a little bit there on Sherwood, so not sure if it's a little bit of him backing off or Sherwood's got a little bit stronger car right now, but still an impressive 4-second lead they have with not coming on pit road just yet.
Yeah, he just saw Wayne Grassy pass him on the inside of turn 3 last time around, and he went really high for that, so that's probably why he lost that 10th or so. I'm sure he'll gather it back up this time around because that car is just bad fast, but I think what he's going to do, Chuck's just going to wait and let everybody else pit. At least he's going to wait for the 2nd or 3rd place car to pit. And actually, I think I just heard, no, he's letting Matty Watkins by there on the bottom, so he's going to shift to the middle of the track. Let that 99 by, who's on fresh Goodyear tires right now. Matty gives him the wave out the window, says thank you for that. But yeah, I think Chuck's going to be waiting for Sherwood and Casey to make that charge down to pit road before he makes that stop himself. I think he's got the car to beat, so why short pit? Just kind of hang out as long as you can. Maybe make this thing a one-stop race. I'm not sure what that fuel mileage looks like, but we're 20 laps away from the halfway point.
And he could be thinking back of what happened on Wednesday, because I know we were having some green flag pit stops, and then we had a caution come out, and a couple guys would put a lap down and kind of mess up the cycle and got a couple wave arounds. So he could be just dragging out as long as he can. Yeah, he knows, like he said, he knows he has a fast car. No need to push it. Still about 4 seconds. He is going to lose a little bit of ground, but I'm kind of looking through, and the guys that have already came down pit road, a majority of them were running either just inside the top 10 or outside the top 10. So no one that he's really been kind of fighting with in that top 5 has came down pit road just yet. But I imagine once we get some of those coming down, we'll see him as well, maybe dip off in the next lap or so after that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like Mr. Chuck Sweeting is almost on the same stretch as his teammate Gil Gawk, who's the last driver on the lead lap in 6th place. So we're about to see Mr. Chuck Sweeting just lapping 2/3 of the field like it's nothing. Actually 3/4 really. Almost 20 cars started, and he's almost got just the top 5 on the lead lap. So just a hell of a job. He has extended back to a 4.2 second lead, so he has gathered up what he gave up earlier as he let some of the faster cars go by. But I think at this point, you got to think he's going to stretch this out to a one-stop shot.
It looks like that's what the plan is. See if you can get to lap 100. Once you get past that, then you can definitely, if this thing goes green flag the whole entire time, which is a good possibility over here at Full Throttle Sim Racing, because it's just, the driving over here is amazing. So he is definitely, looks like he's banking on that, and wouldn't be surprised if that's the game plan. But he's going to have some followers with him. I think him and Gil are probably going to be in the same strategy. See those guys coming in together. And then the other top 5, Chad, Richie, Casey, and Sherwood, all probably going to follow in that same strategy. And as we saw on Nerd TV there as well, Josh Johnson made his way back onto the track. So 6 laps down. Definitely doesn't have his hood. A little short track driving here. But he's out there making some laps, seeing if he can gain. If there's an accident or something that happens, maybe he can gain some points, move up a little bit.
We got a battle for 4th place as Chad Lang is putting heavy pressure on Richie Coy as they take number lap 87 this time around. Richie Coy still looking severely tight. He might be pushing for that one-stop thing as well. He's only 13 laps away, but Chad Lang has caught him, and he's on there. He's on the bumper. He's wanting by him.
just behind them. I mean, they're a lap down, but 7th, 8th, and 9th here. You got trying to push it three-wise. Ryan Hedrick's going to actually take that spot there from Matthew Gehringer as they're coming across the line. That's going to put Ryan Hedrick in the 8th place. He's trying to make a pass here on Tony Solari as they're heading down the 1 and 2, so he's going to make a 2 for 1 here on that front stretch. And that's going to put him up once he comes across back to the line in the 7th place. So little battle here for the top spot, being 1 lap down just in case there is a caution and who can get that Martin Sports lucky dog.
Yeah, it's great driving there by your current points leader, and it does put him, the first car, 1 lap down. So for any unfortunate reason there was a caution, Ryan Hedrick just put himself in an excellent spot, and he just pulled really, really well over Tony Solari and Matthew Gehringer there. As now they got pressure with that number 7, who's got fresher tires. As he passed him, and there's a little bit of checkup there by Matthew Gehringer, put a little damage on the nose of Shane Papala, that number 89. At the same time, Tony Solari got really tight and almost hit the wall at the exit of 4.
Yeah, that could have been dangerous and a little tragic there. And Tony's going to kind of just fall back in line, let these guys go. Doesn't want to cause an accident or anything like that. But Wayne's coming, see if he can catch Ryan, because Ryan's definitely sitting in that prime spot for that Martin Sports lucky dog. So Ryan's just going to hold us. He's actually going to be making a pass here on Chad Lang. I know it's not for position, but trying to stay ahead. As we see on their TV, woo, big push there by Matthew Gehringer and almost collected Shane and Tony with him there.
Yeah, great driving by those guys, but it's not uncommon to see this. There's strategies across the board because we've had guys that have pitted 40 laps ago. We see some guys that pitted 20 laps ago. So the tire strategy is just all over the map, and you're going to see those faster guys close in on a hurry on the guys that have been staying out so far, which is going to cause some situations like that to happen on the track, and you almost see it was almost fatal for a couple guys. But knowing these guys at FTSR, they made it happen almost entirely clean. Just a little sacrifice of damage on the 89's front bumper, and that's about it. No one wrecked, no one got turned, so things are still going. We see Wayne Grassy making the pass on Chad Lang right now, and just kind of clearing guys. He's so much fresher tires. You see Richie Coy's not pitted. He's going to pass him with a breeze here in turn number 3, just cleans him just because there's no rotation in the center. That almost opens the door for Chad Lang too to grab that position.
Chuck's over here gaining about a 5-second lead now on Sherwood Wilford for that top spot. And as we saw Wayne Grassy there go by Richie Coy. Richie's about 11 seconds back. So we've got five or so laps until we hit the halfway mark. So Chuck Sweeting looking like he's going to run that down. But yeah, it's interesting to see what happens here with Wayne and Ryan, even Shane Papala at that matter, as far as how much ground they have gained with these fresher tires, to see how close they can keep it with Chuck once they come off pit road. Because that's going to be the thing. Yes, Chuck's going to have better tires, so it's all going to depend on when he comes off a pit road where everyone lines up. But so far, it's still a Chuck show. So I think we had the Richie and Chuck show on Wednesday until they little mishap, but Chuck's just kind of still leading off where he's been the last 50 laps or so.
Quick shout out to Josh Johnson and that virtual pit crew. He just passed your race leader Chuck Sweeting to get one of his laps back. He's now 5 laps down. You saw him a little bit ago slam the water barrels trying to enter on pit road. And to come out of the entire mess, getting towed, fixing that heavy damage, and only being 5 laps down at a short track, I would say that's a pretty fast turnaround for all that repair work.
Yeah, he definitely got good timing too where it happened. It looks like, he came right off the entrance of pit road, so his tow time wasn't too long, so that was definitely a saving grace. But yeah, hats off to them. Saved it. 5 laps down, could be worse. We talked about earlier, there's not many cautions with this group, so he's hoping that there might be one so he can gain some spots, but history shows what it is in this series. He might not gain too much, but still, overall, great job by that team.
Absolutely. Going back to Chuck Sweeting here, exiting turn number 4. We are 2 laps shy of the halfway point. And I think at that point, we just might see everybody else dip down pit road, showing off that, the race is halfway over, and there's really no reason outside of that to stay out on the track. You cut your race in half and doing 1 stop. So I would expect these guys in the top 5 and even Gil Gawk in 6th to be coming down here in the next few short laps.
Yeah, we're coming across right now, lap 100. So once we complete this lap, we'll be halfway through this race, and like you said, we'll definitely see Chuck and Gil probably coming down together being that they're teammates and probably run the same strategy. I can see all the other ones coming down as well. So I would say Jeremy probably within the next, 71's coming down pit road. Casey McMullen just called it out. So hit that halfway mark, and he's coming down. Looks like Sherwood Wilford's going to be down. Got another one here. Got 3 of them on pit road. Looks like the 17 of Steve Loomis is coming down for another pit stop as well.
He made that late dive, no indication to Casey McMullen. Thankfully, he's able to get it woed up enough to not cause any injury there. We see a couple more guys coming down pit road. That looks like it is the number 85 of Gilgog. So if your strategy is correct, we're going to see Chuck Sweeting hit pit road real shortly. Don't see indication just yet that he's going to. He's currently on the back stretch. Let's see if he makes the dip down this time by. That's going to bring 4 cars on the lead lap until the leader does make his pit stop. Still stretching it out though, Ken.
And this is no disrespect to Tony Solari at all, but that just goes to show you that Chuck Sweeting is running on 103 lap tires right there, and it's passing Tony Solari, who's made his pit stop. That car, this setup that Chuck's got in this thing, the whole thing, driver setup, car, everything is just rock solid tonight. Kicking butt. I mean, that, and Tony Solari's coming on pit road right as we're speaking of him as well. That car is just on a rail tonight, Jeremy.
Yeah, there's nothing you can really say elsewise about that machine. 13.5-second lead over Chad Lang, which I don't remember seeing Chad make a pit stop, so I don't know how he got that huge lead.
Chuck's coming down pit road right now.
Chuck has made the call, gets it woed up, and a very clean pit road entrance, and fast one for that matter too. Exactly what he needed, as we're now 5 laps past the halfway point. As long as he can nail that stop, he's got to keep it clean on the racetrack, and at this point forward, he should almost have this thing wrapped up already.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. You still got Chad Lang, him and Richie Coy. Those 2 cars stayed out, so they're going to be out a little bit longer. And then it looks like we have Wayne Grassi, who's already made his pit stop. So yeah, it looks like we just have Chad Lang and Richie Coy that's left to make their pit stop, and I don't believe they're coming down this time. No, they are not.
Yeah, Richie Coy is begging for a caution. He wants to see that iRacing iFlag unit flash in yellow. Quick shout out to iRacingIFlag.com. Speaking of which, your indicator system, your caution, your checker flag, your green flag indicator, 3D printed, awesome product to have to complete your sim rig. % off using Supernerd at checkout. That's iRacingIFlag.com. Yeah, only a couple more people need a pit. Chad Lang, Richie Coy. I think Wayne Grassi already pitted 50 laps ago, so he might be looking for his potential second stop here shortly. But these 2 are just really extending this run surprisingly past the halfway point, almost 10 laps over the halfway part of the race, and they're still digging.
And looking at where Chuck where he came after the pit stops, and he's sitting behind Wayne, Ryan, and Shane. So those 3 cars definitely took the opportunity of those faster tires. But look at Sherwood with these faster tires. He's just running down Ryan Hedrick and Shane Papalo like it's nobody's business, because those guys have at least 10 to 15 lap older tires. So Chuck might have came out 8 to 6 seconds back on these guys, but he sure gained some ground in a hurry as well. After he puts Shane back down, he's going to be looking at Wayne in his sights, and if he gets by Wayne and makes a good run, then I don't think he's going to worry about Richie or Chad, to be honest with you, just as far as the gap that he had on those guys.
Just to put in perspective the 107 lap tire difference, Chuck Sweeting ran a 1.2 second faster lap time. It only takes 22 seconds to go around this track, and he shortened each lap now by just over entirely 1 second. He went from 16.8 to 15.3. That's a 1.5 second gain when there's no one around him. So they need to come down pit road, which, as you see, Richie Coy has made the dip down pit road. He's going to get fresh Goodyear tires. And that's going to leave Chad Lang. Actually, Chad Lang came down with him too. So both of the Ford Mustangs have pitted. That should kind of fully cycle through here. We're going to see Wayne Grassi take the lead temporarily. But Chuck Sweeting is right on his tail.
Yeah, and I think Dustin's going to be looking back through it for us. We're going to have to look at Richie Coy there coming on pit road. What could have been disaster for him, Steve Loomis got into the back of him just ever so slightly. They both kind of apologized to each other, so it's just a racing incident. But what could have been there if Steve would have hit him just a little bit harder, and Richie Coy might have been a different story for him. But I think we got it here pulled up on Nerd Tunes here in just a second. As we see him coming off of turn 2, and as they're going to be coming down the pit stop here, you'll see Steve just ever so much, just a little touch, but he definitely went high to avoid him. But that was close. That could have been a big disaster.
That could have thrown him right into the water barrels and seen something similar to Mr. Josh Johnson. So, yeah, very fortunate break there for Mr. Coy to not get collected in something like that. Just trying to do his diligence and make his only pit stop of the race, and you see it right there. Steve Loomis just cutting that corner just a little too tight. Probably didn't expect Coy to hit the brake so hard, and they found themselves just barely. Thankfully, no harm, no foul. They are continuing to go on with the race as needed. Chuck Sweeting is up to a 2.5 second lead over Wayne Grassy, who has 50 lap older tires. So that that lead rather is just going to be extended heavily for the next small section of this race.
And we see Richie Coy, who actually just came off a pit road, so his tires about 10 laps better here than Chuck Sweeting. So he's trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. Right now he's the first one lap down. Looks like Chuck's going to actually let Richie go here, heading into 3 and 4. Just going to go ahead and give him his lap back, which is good for Richie. Richie's going to definitely appreciate that, but that's 22 seconds now that he's going to have to gain. That's a lot, Jeremy, especially with Chuck and how he was driving. So Richie's one of those that's kind of looking for this caution that we don't really see that much here in Full Throttle Sim Racing. But just Chuck's just on a whole nother level, as we see he's 3.7 seconds already ahead, and he just made his pit stop about 10 laps ago.
Yeah, we've always mentioned the respect these guys have for one another, and to see Chuck Sweeting, who knows that Richie Coy's fast, just allowed him to pass no problem. You would want maybe to hold the guy that's pretty fast, kind of on your level, to fight him off as much as you can, but he even said, nope, take the spot, man, it's all yours. Puts him back on the lead lap. But since these guys are basically fully cycled through, I'd like to do our side-by-side with you guys and give a quick shout-out visually to everyone who brings this action to you live every Monday and Wednesday night at Full Throttle Sim Racing. So we'll go side-by-side, and we'll be back after a few short messages. to Nerd TV.
All right,
As
man,
soon as I
caution
was
is out.
coming back, I
Caution is
just
out.
saw Gil Gawk heavy contact in the turn 1 pit entrance wall, and that's going to bring out your first caution of this evening on lap, looks like 127. Gil Gawk, heavy contact once again as we just came back from commercial break. And Kenny, looks like he just hit the brake a little too hard, maybe a little too much forward brake, or rear brake rather, and just hit that thing sideways.
What's really unfortunate for him too is he was the first. Oh, hit that inside pit wall too. He was the first car on the lap down, so that might put Kevin Rupert in that lucky dog spot. We'll have to find out and see. But we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, hard impact there on that inside wall, and then just turn him up to the outside wall.
Yeah, per league and NASCAR rules, it first car 1 lap down that's not involved in an incident does get the lucky dog. That should eliminate Gil Gawk from receiving that reward, and we'll wait for the official word like you said, but I think Kevin Rupert will receive that reward, which I'm thinking that he is super thankful that he's able to get back to the lead lap and take 9th place. Yeah, as you see him right now, takes that wave around. Presented by Martin Sports. Get a grip, lucky dog driver for the first caution of this evening on lap number 124. So go get your grip, man, with the Martin Sports gloves, and get your lap back.
Yeah, he's definitely going to love that. That's going to put us down to 9 cars here on the lead lap. See if we have any. I'm not just trying to take a look on pit road, see if everyone came down for pit stops there. I believe so. The one I didn't check was Chuck, but I think he just came off as well. So, yeah, he did. So we'll see if we have anyone that gets a wave around here. I know it's going to be tough, though, with having some pit flags. We might have Chad Lane might take an opportunity because I know he had to wait one. He's 2 laps down. He's still out there. Tony Solari possibly the same way. Matthew Gayringer. So we'll see where this all shuffles around. But Duck put some new tires on it, Jeremy. He's bad fast looking to keep it up. We're going to probably go green with about 65, 67 laps to go.
Yeah, roughly right around that point. You gotta feel a little bit for Richie Coy and Chad Lang, who extended their green flag run 110 laps. Came down pit road, and it put them naturally a lap and a half down, and then the caution comes out. They were unable to run enough time to get back to the lead lap, so they just kind of an unfortunate thing. Actually, Richie Coy did get his lap back. Did Chad Lang get his lap back? Did not look like it. No, Chad Lang's still 1 lap down, so he missed that mark. They played the strategy, and sometimes it just doesn't pay out for you.
Yeah, Chad got a lap back. He was 2 laps down, so he ended up getting 1 lap back, and then we saw Richie Coy battle there for not much of a battle. Chuck let him go, but he was able to race his way back in. So he lost a couple spots there, Richie did. I think when he came in, when those green flags were dropping, I think he ultimately was like 4th or 5th. So he's kind of cycled back to where he was. Ran Grassy right in front of him. Sherwood Wolf for Casey McMullen. So the one that lost out big, though, Chad Lang, 13th position right now, 1 lap down. Everyone else, Ryan Hedrick still sitting there in 6th place, Matty Watkins in 7th, so you still kind of have those typicals. So big loss there though for Chad Lang.
Yeah, so apologize on the Richie Coy. He will be on your lead lap, so he's going to give it everything he's got. Looks like we have 4 wave around cars once they cross the line here. That being Chad Lang, Tony Solari, Matthew Gehringer, and Kevin Scholes. And as they go there, that actually puts Chad Lang back. No, it'd still be 1 lap down. So they're going to wave around and regroup at the tail end of the longest line, as we're going to go green flag this time by. Looks like we are on lap number 132. We'll take the green flag on lap 133, which will put us about 68 laps away, like you said, right around that ballpark area to get this thing all squared away. And it's the first time we're seeing a restart. But we have the fastest car now starting first, and I really don't see who's really going to compete with them on this early start here.
The one that, there we go. We're going to go to the green flag one. I'm going to keep an eye on those. Casey McMullen, as he's going to kind of battle back through. But getting ready to drop the green flag.
There he goes. Green flag is out. Chuck Sweeting with a decent start over Casey McMullen. Those 2 cars really extend out the lead, about a 2-car length advantage. Sherwood Williford heavy on the bottom, though, is going to make up all that ground back. But looks like McMullen gets a good run off the exit of turn number 2. And Wayne Grassy dives it in extra hard there in turn number 3. Shuffles up the track. It allows Richie Coy, Ryan Hedrick to pass. Shane Papala soon to follow.
Yeah, I thought Ryan Grassi was going to get into the back of Sherwood Wilford there heading in the 3. He drove it down there pretty hard, and as we saw him push up, lost 3 spots too as he did that. So, sorry, lost 2. Oh, we see Ryan Hedrick going down to the inside. He's going to try and save it, slides down the bottom. He was able to collect it, but lost a handful of spots. That is going to be a big loss for him. He's probably got a flat tire on it as well, and no caution is out. Big loss there for Ryan Hedrick. He's probably going to be coming down pit road here.
You would think he would,
Nope,
but
still
it
going.
doesn't look like it. He knows his laps are ticking. I guess he just has to pray for a caution of some kind. That was an excellent save. He thought he had it going, but those tires were just too hot, and it respun him out, and then he had to resave it the same exact way he did the first time around. That guy gets some style points for the drift. Not what he was looking for, but I'll give him the credit for the style points.
Yeah, I thought he flat spotted a tire there when his way his car settled, but lucky for him, as you see here, he saved it though. Didn't want to put an inside wall. They didn't want to pull up the track there and take out everyone else. And right now he's just trying to keep it down. And good job on the save, but that is unfortunate. That's going to put him back. He's only in 9th place, so he didn't lose too much ground, but it's definitely going to affect him in the long run here. So he's going to be hoping for a caution to get back up there with these guys, but still sitting in 9th, so not too bad.
Yeah, he's got that points battle with Richie Coy, who's 24 back of him, and Richie Coy is 5 spots ahead of him. Actually, 6 spots now in 3rd place as he got around Sherwood to take over the 3rd place. And he's only a couple car lengths from Casey McMullen, so right now Hedrick's just kind of hoping that Coy doesn't really advance any further. We know he's probably not going to get to the lead the way Truck's running right now, but 2nd place still could be up for grabs. Let's hope Richie Coy has tweaked that setup to be a little bit better on the long run.
Yeah, speaking of Chuck, he just now gained 0.4 of a second there on that last lap, so he's almost to a 1.5 lead, kicking off where he started before the caution came out. Just been dominating this race and still doing it in the same fashion. So Chuck's pulling away, but right behind him though, these next 5 cars are a good little battle. Here's I saw Rain Grassi there kind of push a little bit and slow it up with Shane Paulo right behind him, but they're keeping it close those next about 5 or 6 cars there, Jeremy.
Yeah, pretty decent battle, really. I mean, they're all single file, but they're all nose to tail for the most part. Just kind of waiting as the race is getting close to the end here, and maybe saving up for a pass. Maybe they're just, feeling each other out one last time before they make that move. But quick mention that Josh Johnson, who made that awesome recovery and hit the pit wall early on, he has parked it as of 2 laps to go, so he will be finishing in 17th place officially tonight, pending review of the guys that are currently on track, but I don't see anything changing on that ballpark. But Chuck Sweden still leading the point, 1.5 over, and the battle for second is heating up as you see Richie Coy's onboard camera entering turn number 2 right now and exiting it, and he's got a pretty good run over Casey McMullen into 3.
You can tell Richie wants to make that pass and wants to get in second place and see him get some of that open air and make his way up to Chuck, because we saw that Richie has that early run car, and it looks like Casey, as you mentioned earlier, has that later run car there. So Casey's trying to just hold him off right now and let his car come in a little bit more and see if he can run Chuck down. And Richie's saying, come on, man, get out of my way. I got to get up there and see what I got for Chuck. So the whole time, though, Chuck's loving any part of it because he's just ticking off 10th by 10th every lap. So good for some, bad for others. But sitting right there, too, Jeremy. We've been talking about him a little bit, but he's just quietly sitting in 4th place. Sherwood Wilford having a great run. Nice top 5 with Wayne Grassi right there behind him as well, running 5th.
There's no complaints in my book whenever you can run in the top 5 for the most part of the race and not really be called on. I mean, minus the sponsors, you want to give them some TV time, but outside of that, to be quietly sitting in the top 5, that means you do nothing wrong. Just having a pretty stout performance overall, that being that 33. And that Timothy Morris Chevrolet Camaro. Awesome orange and black combination on their paint job too. Really, it's like a flat gloss type of finish on it. Looks pretty clean as we see Dustin. Awesome camera work here, doing that free floating lock onto the left rear to get a complete angle of his sponsor, Mr. Timothy Morris, sole sponsor on that Chevrolet Camaro, and doing a pretty good job out there. Richie Coy still about 1 car length back of Casey McMullen, and Chuck Sweeting has pulled out to 2.1 second lead so far.
Yeah, we heard, Sherwood talk about that sponsor on the podium last week too when he was here. Timothy C. Morris, attorney. That's going to be his primary sponsor. He was gave him a shout out last week, so he's proud to be driving for him. But great showing tonight, trying to get another podium finish as well. He's going to have a tough couple cars though. He's going to have to get by either one of Chuck, Casey, or Richie, and we know those top three are ones that's not going to give it up lightly. So those top three I'm looking to see make a run. The one I'm really keeping an eye on though here is Richie and Casey. Richie definitely, you can see he wants to get by him, but Casey's not giving it up.
Yeah, it looks like Richie Ruthers, he's rotating a little bit better, but I think he's giving up just center speed to be able to hug the bottom. And Casey's really just getting a solid exit speed, especially off of turn 2. And I think he's starting to slowly inch his way further ahead of Richie. Richie gets that lower entry, which is preferred. He just can't stick it the way Casey is on exit and allows Casey to launch. But that time, Richie actually gained a little bit as I was talking against him, so this thing might not be over. Completing lap number 149 there. So we got 51 laps remaining. Chuck out to a 2.6 second lead. Looks like Wayne Grassy there in 5th place, shot way up the track, entered it way too hot in turn number 1. That's going to bring Shane Papala in the number 89 Ford Mustang back to his rear bumper here. Let's see if he can regroup and get a good launch off the corner, which Shane matches the speed of Wayne Grassy. Entering turn number 1 here, Wayne with a much better entrance. Looks like he's going to be able to regroup and get back on, but actually Shane Papala not letting go.
Yeah, Shane's definitely putting up a fight here. And one thing I was looking at as well with Chuck Sweeting up here, he's going to start hitting lap traffic here soon. He's got Kenneth Schultz, who's going to be catching here shortly, and then right up in front of him is going to be Steve, and then you got Ryan. So we're going to see lap traffic play a factor, especially if this thing runs green for the next 50 laps, which could tighten up this field, especially in that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spot. And even further back where we were kind of watching there with Shane and Wayne. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on this lap traffic to see what happens. We saw Chuck, go through it no problem last run, so I'd expect him to kind of do the same thing, but it kind of held up the guys a little bit further back.
Yeah, going back to 2nd and 3rd, it looks like Richie is falling to a half a second now over Casey, and that long run starting to finally creep in, and Casey's speed always shows on the longer run, and she's showing that again tonight at Richmond. Currently 5:21 Eastern Standard Time at the racetrack, as we are just under 50 laps left. Like I said, we're not going to see any type of sunset tonight. We see some clouds covering the racetrack right now, so it looks a little darker. It's going to bring the track temps a little bit down. It's going to allow these tires to grip just a little bit better, Ken.
Yeah, definitely will, and we see that with Casey McMullen. He's, already has that car that kind of takes a couple laps to get going, and he's gained a little bit of ground here on Chuck Sweeting, and he's pulling a little bit on Richie Coy, and then now with those tires, getting a little extra grip, it's gonna be a good little run for him as we see him gain some ground as these guys are coming a little bit closer to Chuck. But for Casey's pulling a little bit on Richie there, as we see they're kind of all starting to spread out a little bit, not really seeing a battle like we were with those 4 or 5 cars. Everyone's kind of spaced out within a few car lengths of each other right now.
Yeah, you saw that graphic just a minute ago of what the track looks like weather-wise, and only about a 5-mile-an-hour wind shifting from the south to southeast. And it goes from 5 to 2, and Richie Coy actually just hit the wall next to turn number 4. Not heavy, but enough to crinkle in that right front fender. That car is starting to show its tightness once again.
Yeah, and look who's ready to pounce there. Sherwood Wilford is like, okay, that's what I needed. I needed someone that will make a little mistake here, see if I can move myself into the podium finish. We'll see what happens with Richie. We saw that happen with Brandon Oder, and he started pushing, getting a little tight. Not sure if that'll be the case here with Richie Coy, but that's something to keep an eye on, because that's a podium finish that he wants to hold on to. So Sherwood's definitely taking an eye on it. And these guys are moving their way through traffic as we see Casey McMullen getting by Kenneth Schultz there. That's that traffic I was just mentioning a couple of laps ago. Chuck Sweeting just got by Steve Loomis as well. So Casey McMullen should be coming up on Steve here in the next couple of laps. So that lap traffic's now starting to take effect, Jeremy.
Yeah, Chuck Sweeting made no problem of that. Passed him real quick, gave him a nice thank you as he drove by into the sunset over Mr. Loomis. And as Chuck's got about a 2.7 second lead over second place Casey McMullen at this point. And yeah, Casey and Rich are going to find passing Steve Loomis here real shortly to continue his fall of this current lap that he's on. And Everybody else is just really spaced out. You see a tenth of a second advantage from Wayne Grassi over Shane Papala, battling for your top 5. Outside of that, the battle isn't, anywhere else really. So top 5 has all the action at this point. Case McMullen almost to Steve Loomis now, and he's got about over a second lead over Mr. Richie Coy at this point.
Yeah, and they're coming up on Ryan Hedrick too, who we saw spin it there coming off of 2 and was able to save it and lock it down, but lost a bunch of time. And Chuck Sweeting's coming to run him down. Luckily for him, if he does actually get to him, he'll be the only one. He'll probably stay the lap down, the first car lap down for a while because he lost so much ground. I think he's 10 seconds off of Kevin Rupert. So worst case scenario, you're probably going to stay there, but he's definitely not one to be a lap down, maybe catch a caution and get back up with these guys because Ryan definitely has the car. We've shown it. He's been running about that around top 5. Hasn't really been dominant enough to compete for the win, but does have a car to get up there into the top 5. So he's looking for something to happen so we can get up there and battle with these guys.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And you mentioned Hedrick, your points leader. He's going to be falling to the clutches of Chuck Sweeting here real shortly alongside Tony Solari in that 11 car, who's looking pretty loose at the moment, at least on the exit of turn number 2. Definitely not a comfortable machine, that's for sure, in that Ford Mustang Menards car. And yeah, we saw Ryan earlier make that epic save, but that came at the cost of scrubbing a lot of tire tread off those wheels, all 4 of them, because he had to do a mad lockup. So that's why you see him really slowing things down this early into the stretch with just under about 36 laps to go.
Yeah, that's just adding insult to injury there, sliding it. He's able to save it, but definitely took off a big chunk of your tire wear. But again, not too bad. He's gonna, he's not gonna lose too much more. He's gonna probably sit there right in that 9th place. Even if a caution comes out, probably getting that lucky dog. So just keep it down. You got, sitting with about 35 laps to go, so not too much longer. We'll see if we can get back up there. But Chuck's just still dominating this race. He comes across the line. He's going to be sitting 3.5 seconds ahead of Casey McMullen. Casey's got him a nice little gap back to Richie Coy. And then Sherwood Wilford sitting there in 4th place. He's got Richie Coy riding his tag, so he's going to see if he can make Richie do a little bit of mirror driving, make his way around for that 3rd position.
Yeah, he's definitely putting the pressure on here. He's basically to his rear bumper at this point. We've seen how tight that Richie Coy is at the moment, and you see it right there. Sherwood really just gains a lot of ground on the 19 and makes that dip down to the bottom. I think he's going to be able to stick it in the center of the corner. That's where the 19 loses a lot of his speed. It shows it right there. Sherwood almost clears Richie. Into turn number 3 they go, and there's that completed pass. New 3rd place position runner right now, Mr. Williford.
Yeah, he's looking to make another podium finish. 2 great runs here at Richmond last week in the trucks on Wednesday night over at the truck series that we do. We broadcast that one on Wednesday nights. If you're not checking that one out, come check it out. It's the Sim Racing Points Truck Series, Wednesday at 9 o'clock. And as we mentioned, great racing over there as well. We saw Sherwood take the podium finish on that one, and looking to repeat that as well tonight. As we look ahead, we see Casey McMullen going on the inside of Matthew Gearinger, putting him behind him as he's still trying to chase down Chuck Sweeting, who's still slowly gaining on that lead on him. He's pushed it out to 3.7 seconds, so almost gave it to 4 seconds. And Richie Coy, I'm looking, he's got a little loose coming off of 2, so his car is definitely not where it should be, so he's just trying to hold on, see if he can keep him in the top 5, even the 4th place. But Shane's coming as well, I've been noticing, Jeremy.
Yeah, he's showing some late race speed here. Let's see if he can hold off Mr. Matty Watkins, who's only 3/10 back of him. The battle for the top 5 has heated up as there are just around 30 laps to go in the Richmond 200. We're almost halfway done with the season. Once we get these next 30 laps done, it will complete halfway through the season, which Ryan Hedrick currently is your points leader at race number 7. And I think he's going to be leaving the race that same, as long as he can, stay within a lap or 2 down and nothing else happens to that machine. But Matty Watkins is putting that pressure on Kenny. I think he wants to get that top 5 underneath the stat chart. Yeah,
Matty Watkins definitely wants to do that. He's trying to, he came in, like I said, 5th in the points. He's already got 3 top 10s, 1 top 5. He's trying to get a 2nd top 5 here, improve on the points. They're all going to gain there. You got Matt Watkins in 5th, Casey McMullen in 4th, and then they were just 1 point and 2 points behind James Wallace, who didn't even make the race tonight. So they're going to gain a spot by default, and they're going to try and see if they can gain some ground on Ryan Hedrick and Richie Coy. But right now, those three are kind of keeping it close. So, but they're definitely going to gain on James Wallace, who's unfortunately he's not here tonight. But Super Matty Watkins trying to get him a super top 5 out of it.
Yeah, a super top 5 would be great for Mr. Watkins. He did fall back a couple tenths those last few laps over Papala. He's got to regroup and get that thing going if he wants to get that job done. But then that number 7 machine is lurking. If you see Matty make a mistake or Shane, he's going to be right there also for that top 5. So previous battle, we see side by side Mr. Williford going to be taking Tony Solari. Entering turn number 3, Tony gives him an immense amount of room, no issue whatsoever. And you know, in 07, that highline used to be a thing here, but after that 1 or 2 races, it's just been a bottom single groove track.
Yeah, they got rid of that in a hurry. They, like you said, only kept it around for about 2 races and then put back to a single groove track. And Chuck's okay with that, as we see him sitting here, going to come across the line, sitting about 4.5 second lead on Casey McMullen, who's sitting in 2nd place. Still a great run by Casey. You know, nothing to take away from that. Yes, you got second tonight, and Chuck's about 5 seconds ahead, but you know, he's in another ballpark by himself. You're still having a great run sitting there. 2nd place, running 3 seconds ahead of 3rd place with Sherwood Wilford there. So nothing to hang your hat up here on Casey's night. He had a great run and great points tonight.
And I want to kick it back over to Chuck Sweeting's car. Just the artwork of this car, driving into the corners, super smooth, hugs the yellow line, and just doing a great job with that racing groove there on the bottom of the racetrack. Just there's minus that right there, trying to get around a lap car on that 55 machine. Outside that car has been perfectly smooth all the way through, and even entering that corner super low is able to hug the yellow line. Passes the 55, no problem whatsoever. Extending his lead almost 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's the impressive part, is he's passing all these lap cars and he's gaining time. So, you know, that just shows you how tuned he's got his car sitting here, where you can make passes on lap cars and still gain 10th after 10th after 10th on your opponent. So we saw right there, he only lost a 1,000 right there. So kept it even with Casey, even with the battling the lap car. But looking through the field, Jeremy, I'm not really seeing any battles going on. Everyone's kind of spread out, other than passing lap cars here and there. Everyone's kind of running their own race, just trying to make it to the end as these tires are wearing down. We're sitting here with 21 laps to go. So these guys are just making it to the end, seeing if they can go. And if they do get a caution, then we're going to have a great shootout. But if we're keeping it running the way we are, then they're just trying to keep their tires clean to the very end.
Yeah, the only real battle I'm kind of looking at here is Tony Solari and Matthew Gehringer, 11th and 12th place. But even then, so they're still, they actually just spaced each other out a little bit more that time. So they're about half a second or so away from each other. They were a lot closer just a couple laps ago, last time I checked in. But yeah, everybody else is just kind of doing their own thing, as we're 25 laps shy of getting this thing done. Actually, a little bit shorter than that. We're 20 laps shy of getting this thing done. 19 to go at the line when Chuck Sweeting just crossed it. So this is a pretty quick race, Ken. There's 200 laps here, but these guys are doing it so clean with only 1 caution. We've covered races here on Nerd TV where we've had 29 cautions on a short track, and here you only see 1. So, you know, short tracks can present a lot of craziness, or it can really impress you. It could go either way, and tonight's one of those races to where they've only been green flagged for an hour and I think 13 minutes at this point, and they're almost done with the 200 lapper.
Yeah, and I think if this thing runs green, we're looking about another 6 or 7 minutes of racing here, which will put us right about, the 1 hour and 24, 25 minutes, which I know doesn't seem like too much time, but that'll put us about 5 minutes faster than last year's pace. But like I said, it doesn't seem like much, but that's 15, 16 lap difference there on the time. So they're putting out a blistering pace tonight, and with that 1 caution, keeping it nice and clean and smooth, and it was just the 1 mistake. It was just by 1 guy who kind of had a little mishap there. Gil Gawk just had the 1 little mishap coming down in turn 1. Other than that, clean race this whole entire time, which is what we expect here at Full Throttle Sim Racing.
Each and every week, we definitely expect it. Definitely doesn't disappoint again once a night. See, actually, Chuck's moving a little loose there, trying to get around Kevin Rupert. finally makes it happen in turn number 3. A little odd, that's twice now we've seen him go around a lap car and have a little bit of a looseness situation for him. That car might be starting to feel a little ill handling. I know last week I think we talked to him specifically about that, and I said that car looks super smooth, and he goes, nope, this car was a handful, but I'm glad it made it look smooth for you guys.
Yeah, you know, one thing that Chuck could definitely use is some Martin Sports Sim Racing gloves. If he says that car's a handful, he's going to get those sim racing gloves that are going to definitely add some grip to it. Might even improve the lap times, which I don't think Chuck needs it tonight, sitting 5 seconds ahead. But go check him out. Super Nerd in the promotion code. Get yourself a discount. Martin Sports Martinsports906.com. Again, Super Nerd at checkout.
That's going to be for also a blistering 25% off anything in your shopping cart. Not many people offer 25% off anything on their website. Martin Sports is going to do it for you. But yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as too much grip for a race car driver. Chuck does not need it, but he wants it. He wants to be 7 seconds ahead, 8 seconds ahead. He doesn't want to feel like he's getting loose. Even though he's put on a dominant performance, he wants more grip. You got people like Richie Coy who are asking for 3 times the amount of grip. So everybody out here looking for something, even though we're just under 10 laps or just over 10 laps left in this race.
And what I'm impressed with, Jeremy, is I know, Chuck all night, but he's still sitting out here lapping cars. He just lapped the 8th place of Kevin Rupert. Going to put him 1 lap down. That's going to put 7 cars on the lead lap. I think Wayne Grassie's the next one. He's sitting about 4 seconds, I would say, back of Chuck right now. So he might keep on the lead lap, but that's still impressive. I mean, and it's not like, yes, we did have the 1 caution that kind of put some guys a lap down, but Chuck was already doing that. Chuck was already lapping people. He was running times on his 103rd lap faster than guys have done when they're making a pit stop. So, that's just an impressive showing by Chuck tonight.
Really is, and Chevrolet overall tonight, you got Camaros in the top 3, and then you got the Ford Mustangs 4th, 5th, and 6th. So Chevrolet's kind of putting on the show for everyone this evening, with Chuck, Casey, and Sherwood leading the way on that, and everybody else just kind of mixed in after you get through 6th and 7th place. But it's 5.5, almost 5.5 second lead. It's pretty impressive. We're just about what looks to be about another 8 laps to go.
Yeah, he's, Brewston Pacing, he's not looking to slow down either. So we see he's still 5 seconds ahead. Casey is there. Richie lost a little bit, and we saw that his car was kind of fading away, but still a good run, sitting in there 4th. But Chuck, Casey, and Sherwood, they're putting on a great show for the top 3. And we mentioned it, Chuck started in 12th. For those who didn't see his qualifying effort, had a little mishap there, as we saw on Nerd TV. Qualifying in 12th, but made his way up there pretty quick. And once he got to that top spot, Jeremy, he didn't look back. I think he got there around lap 50. And here we are, we're coming to 7 to go. And this is where he's been the whole race. This has been his home.
Absolutely. And as I'm going through the field here, but before we get to the conclusion of this race, still not many battles around the track. I see, other than the 11 and the 12 car, Tony Solari and Matthew Gehringer, they're within a couple car lengths of each other, trying to settle out for 11th place so you can get that done. Outside of that, everyone's just pretty spaced out still. See right now, Tony Solari entering turn number 3 on Nerd TV here. They are on lap 192. So this is going to be 8 laps to go when they get to their line. 6 laps to go in the race overall, because these guys are 2 laps down. That'll be racing Chuck Sweeting. And this might be a little good battle here. Matthews, he's not letting up. He's trying to overdrive the corner a little bit there to get everything he can, and he's still inching his way on Solari.
Yeah, he's trying to gain. I mean, these guys are, 2 laps down, but that's no worries for them. Matthews trying to gain a spot. A spot's a spot. He's trying to move into 11th place. Not going to be able to get a top 10, but he might be able to gain a spot here on Tony. As we kind of see Chuck here, he's going to come around, start finish. That's going to push about 4 laps to go. He's going on the inside of 17 to Steve Loomis, who just lets him go. But that's, like you said, that's the only battle we really had on the track right now is Tony Solari and Matthew Gehringer.
Chuck Sweeting actually might get around Matty Watkins. I know it's 4 to go, but they are close. You see, we're on the hood of Mr. Sweeting, it looks like, as he crossed the start-finish line. 3 laps to go. We're going to just keep our eye out on him, I do believe, because, well, That's what matters the most is the guy who's leading the most laps and putting on a dominant performance, and we've been talking about all night. But we're doing that because we're just super blown away with how well that car's been handling all night long, coming from 12th place to first within the first half of the race. Just doing it with ease. It looks like minus a couple of situations getting loose. Um, that Gator Racing machine though, he's gonna make it happen. Gawk and that other car on his team had super unfortunate issue with the looked like a brake bias issue. Entered the corner in turn number 1 that brought the only caution, hit the inside wall. We see the white flag is out. 1 parade lap left for Mr. Sweeting. Takes through 1 and 2, no problem as usual. Coming up on Wayne Grassy, I'm sure he's not going to get to him in time. Probably wouldn't want to pass him anyways. Turn 3 and 4 for the final time this evening. Chuck Sweeting's going to bring it home in the Richmond 200.
As we see, Chuck just continuing his dominating fashion, comes home over a 6-second lead. That is just domination by Chuck Sweeting. Congratulations on the win there. Actually, 5.5 seconds over Case McMullen, who got second. Then Sherwood Wilford is going to round out that top 3. So, great run overall by those 3 drivers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A great run by everybody just in general. This is a tough track to run at. So even though they were spaced out, they still, they drove their hearts out trying to get everything they could on the track. Some people overshooting the corners and just trying to make anything possible happen. It is a tough track. You see that Gator Racing Chevrolet doing some burnouts, super well deserved. Congratulations once again. But I think that's gonna kick us over, Kenny, to the Martin Sports post-race show, as we're gonna get these guys lined up after they get out of their cars and see if we can't get a word with your top 3, as we do each and every week for you guys on Monday and Wednesdays. And we might be a while before we talk to Chuck, because I think he's got a lot of celebrating to do, because with that kind of car, why would you want to get on something like that, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm surprised he didn't burn it down, but he just wants to keep driving it. As we see him go down pit road right here, he's just going to keep driving that thing around with that dominating performance that he put on. He's actually going to pull it right up to his team, park it on his pit stall, get out and celebrate with them. So that was a great win, though, by Chuck.
Yeah, it really was. And I think we have our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Williford, available. I'm going to see if we can put him into our channel and get a word with him. Mr. Sherwood, you got a copy?
Yeah, man.
Congratulations on the podium finish in 3rd place. Job well done. We only had 1 caution this evening. So it's basically just how the setups were performing. And tell us how your car was handling throughout the whole entire race, man.
It was pretty good. You just had to run a Pacific line with it, and you couldn't hustle the car. You just had to make sure that you didn't wreck it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. To find that line, between being smooth or being fast, and it looks like you were finding it the whole way. Do you feel like your car kind of came on early in the run, or was it more of a late run car?
I I could go either way, but my nature is to be kind of like a long run driver. But uh, we didn't have nothing for Chuck. Other than that, I think me and Casey were the 2 best cars besides him.
yeah, that T MorseAttorney.com Chevrolet is pretty bad fast overall, and I gave you a good compliment too. I know you've run that scheme the whole season basically, and still a great looking car to watch go around each and every track that we see on Monday nights here. And I would like to give you the floor, really, after a pretty well race done by you. Any people out there watching on Nerd TV that you'd like to go shout out to?
Well, you're talking about the paint job. I appreciate Brandon Elder. He done the paint jobs on these 3 cars. Like you said, they're real nice looking cars, and I appreciate that. Appreciate the league, FTSR. I mean, we do a good job here. Clean races, and it's always fun to run here. To run good and win, it really makes you feel good because the competition's so tough. And appreciate you guys for doing the broadcast.
Yes, sir. Absolutely appreciate those kind words, and we'll let you go ahead and celebrate, man. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, thanks.
You got it. That was your 3rd place finisher, Mr. Sherwood Williford. And I do believe we have 2nd place, Mr. Casey McMullen, available as well. Casey, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, congratulations on that runner-up finish there. That Blackwater Products Chevrolet Camaro was pretty bad fast overall. Just minus Chuck Sweeting being on a whole nother zip code. You had the next dominant car in line, and that long run seemed to prevail for you. How was that car for you overall?
Yeah, the I was just trying to make sure at last the tires were saved, and the long run it was just really good. And me and me and Sherwood were about even there. I think he was a little bit better than me tonight, but it's just track position, is key here.
Yeah, we could definitely see that. Your car was a little bit better on the long run. We were watching you, kind of pointing that out. 10 laps into the run, we could see you kind of come on a little bit stronger. So it was a great run there, and it looks like you have a good handle for this place. You got fourth on Wednesday night in the trucks, and then come home with the second tonight. So is this one of those tracks that you look forward to seeing every season?
Actually, no, I'm not really good here. I used to like this track back in 2K3, but on iRacing, I just been dog poo poo. So I feel like I won the race tonight.
Yeah, that's the very technical term when your car is, not your favorite. You call it dog poo poo. I feel the same way whenever I'm racing here as well. It's not one of my tracks, but yeah, I mean, you still came on in second place, which is still pretty dominant overall, being only one caution. So it was mainly all driver there. Um, since you got the floor, anybody at Nerd TV that's watching, you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to Blackwater Products USA, Steve Barry, everybody on my team here at Blackwater, and all the associates, and everybody at FTSR, the league. Brody, you guys for putting on a good show, and thank my wife and kids, and thank God.
Appreciate those kind words, man. We're going to let you go ahead and celebrate with everybody on the team and enjoy the rest of your night. All right, congratulations once again on your runner up position.
Thanks, guys, and hats off to Chuck there. He had a great race.
Yeah, appreciate that. We will pass that message for you. And that was your second place finisher, Mr. Casey McMullen. And Kenny, that's going to leave one person left, which is the guy who started his own zip code and took 12th place and said, "Nah, I want the lead," and made it happen. Mr. Chuck, you got a copy.
Hey, Jeremy, how's it going?
Going pretty good up here. That car, man, that line you're running, that car just super dominant. You started 12th. I figured you had something for him, but I didn't expect on that kind of level. Just walk us through like the what kind of time did you prepare to get this car dialed in so well?
Well, first off, I spun on or nearly spun off a four in practice or qualifying, so that's why I started so far back. But so yeah, I had to work for it a little bit, but yeah, I put some laps in on the car. I think the main thing here is just trying to stick to that yellow line all the way around the corners, and it seemed to pay off for me tonight. Car handled pretty good. It's a handful, even still, hot track and slick track, but. Yeah, I think if you can try to stay consistent with it, then you don't make any one of the tires too mad and lose control of it or lose speed. So just worked on that today and paid off tonight.
Yeah, as you mentioned, on qualifying there, coming off a four, getting a little looser. We saw you on Nerd TV, and we knew that you were going to be one to watch coming through the field. And I mean, you led 147 laps of the 200. So once you got up there around lap 50, you definitely didn't give that up. So that was a great run. And I kind of asked Casey the same thing. You got third on Wednesday, and you just blister the pace here tonight. Is this one of those tracks that you look forward to on the schedule when it comes up?
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably my favorite track on the service. It's something about the way I drive it, trying to exit low and straight off the corners. It really works for me. And I usually do pretty well. I was a little disappointed in that finish, even though it wasn't a bad finish in the trucks, but I was a little disappointed. I expected to run a little bit better than that, but we got it together tonight and finally got a win. I'm starting to get a hold of these cars a little bit, at least on the tracks that I'm better at. We'll see when we get to some of the other tracks if I've improved any.
Yeah, I'm seeing that each and every week. I keep commenting on how your car is just getting faster and faster. And, this is a stretch of 1 to 3 short tracks now. I know Bristol being dirt isn't, considered as a short track in a way because it's its own animal. But with this success you had at Richmond, you might have a good little streak here coming up for you to gain some points and put a pressure on those guys in the top spot. But congratulations once again on your dominant performance at the Richmond 200. Race number 7 of 13. And anybody out there on Nerd TV that you love to give a shout out to?
Well, just thanks to you guys on Nerd TV. Thanks to Brody and all the admins for all the work they do with the league. I want to say hey to my sister Joy. I appreciate her support. And of course, as always, my teammate Gil for all the work that he does with me all week long. And yeah, it's a fun league, and I appreciate the admins and all the work they do.
Sir, appreciate those kind words, and go ahead and celebrate with the team on dominant performance once again. Have a good rest of your night, man.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
You got it. And that was Mr. Chuck Sweeting, who, as you know, has dominated this race. 147 of 200 laps led. And Kenny, we got a nice little stretch of racing to go here. A little couple short tracks, and then I think Talladega right after that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe that you're correct on that one. We're going to have Martinsville and then Bristol Dirt, as you mentioned, and then jump right into Talladega. So the 3 short tracks in a row, and then jump up to the Super Speedway. And I think we're going to finish with 3, intermediates. You got Dover, Darlington, and Kansas. So the rest of the season is going to be a good one. Got a good variety of different tracks there. And we've been seeing the drivers kind of change up. As Chuck mentioned, he's starting to get this car down. So we're going to start seeing a little bit more and more of different people up to the front.
Yeah, I expect more from Chuck. That car, like I said, is just getting better and better, and he might have something for him in this late race or late season push. You never know. We're only halfway through, so a lot of things can flip flop. We've seen a couple guys like Brian Bliss not even start tonight, and James Wallace, who was in third in points. So I mean, there could be some storylines here that could change up in a hurry, and we got a half a season to look out to. But until then, we got some people to thank before we close this thing out tonight. First and foremost, thank you to Full Throttle Sim Racing for letting us do this. I know you guys have been doing this forever, and we're glad to be a part of every step of the way with your Cup Series and your Truck Series this season around, and hopefully more to come. But check out all their racing series at FTSR.net. And then the official trucks sponsor the Sim Racing Points software allows you to export your official results, upload them, and then within a matter of minutes, your website is updated with all the stats. You don't need to do any math behind the scenes. It takes care of all that for you. Check out their pricing, simracingpoints.com. And then Nerditude's partners, Martin Sports, Super Nerd at checkout, 25% off. And Kenny, they have customized t-shirts,
What?
hoodies,
What?
hats,
What?
and the fastest turnaround of the business.
Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah. And you can check them all out at martinsports906.com. iRacing iFlag. That system that brings all the indications and flags directly into your sim rig, takes your focus solely onto the racing surface, and let that software that iRacing iFlag provides, let it do it all for you in the behind the scenes. And you can check everything out that they offer at iracingiflag.com. And then thebuttkicker.com. That real simulation feel that you need to bring to your seat, where you can feel all the bumps and feels of the racing surface, to whatever you're sitting in, really, sim rig or little computer chair. It's up to you, whatever you want to race in. Gamer 2 unit will definitely get you there. Use code NerdTV at checkout, 20% off. That is thebuttkicker.com. And quick shout out to Nerd Focus as well. Use Super Nerd at checkout, 10% off of all their products. One sugar free and one sugar lineup. You see the green ones right now. That is your sugar variant. The blue one is your sugar free. And quick shout out as well to our asphalt provider, Moonlight Speed Concepts. They provide excellent, top quality, professional setups to get the job done no matter what kind of car you're racing in on the asphalt side. You can find them on Twitter. You can find them at moonlightspeed.com. And then on the flip side, on the dirt stuff, houseofspeed.us, also on Twitter and social media. Those two setup providers, top notch. Doesn't matter. The car feels great no matter where you take it, and highly recommend them. All right, Kenny, halfway through the season, we're gonna come back at you live this Wednesday as the Truck Series takes Martinsville, which we know trucks in Martinsville is an excellent combination.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the trucks here at Martinsville, and kind of lead us up into Monday here at Martinsville with the Cup Series again. So we see them beating and banging, but again, we talk about it all the time. These guys are super respectful, so I don't think we're gonna have too much issues. But we might see a little bit more beating and banging than we normally do, Jeremy.
Yeah, Richmond doesn't provide that like Martinsville does, but until then, you guys are going to have to find out with us. That'd be Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will bring all the action to you guys. Until then, stay safe out there and get your nerd on.
Later, nerds.